Hi everybody, I'm Mr. Steve. You've probably seen me downstairs in Quest 45. I'm going to tell today a story about Jonah. And Jonah is one of my favorite books in the Old Testament. Jonah was a prophet. A prophet is a person that God gave a message to and told him where he was to go to deliver it. And one day, God came to Jonah and told him that he should go to Nineveh and tell the people in Nineveh that God was going to destroy the city because of the sinful ways of the people in Nineveh. Well, in Jonah's time, there was a lot of bad feeling between the Hebrews and the people of Nineveh. They just plain didn't get along with each other. They clashed, and the Hebrews thought that Nineveh was sinful, and they hoped that God would destroy Nineveh. Jonah didn't want to have anything to do with the people of Nineveh. So he had a plan. When God told him to go to Nineveh, he went down to the port of Joppa on the Mediterranean Sea, and he booked passage on a ship that was headed to Tarshish. Now, where's Tarshish? Tarshish is where we call now Spain. And that was 3,000 miles. That's like the width of the continent, our continent, from Joppa. And where was Nineveh? Nineveh was about 750 miles the other direction. So Jonah's plan was real clear. If he went to Tarshish, God couldn't make him go to Nineveh. He'd just have too far to go. However, he didn't know what God had in mind. So Jonah got on the ship, went down to his cabin, went to sleep, and what do you know? God wasn't happy. God caused a storm on the Mediterranean Sea. It was the worst storm that the people on the crew had ever seen. And they figured something was up. So what did they do? They brought Jonah up, and they realized the source of their problems was Jonah. And they said, "Who are you? Where do you come from?" And Jonah said, "I'm a Hebrew. I worship the God who created the sea and the dry land." And the crew thought, this guy's God is causing us real problems. So we got to ask him what to do. And Jonah at this point realized God is punishing him, and he was putting the crew in jeopardy. So he said, "Throw me overboard." And the crew thought, this isn't a good idea. We can't punish an innocent person and take his life because this powerful God of Jonah might be mad at us. So they went down and rowed harder and harder against the storm. They rowed harder and harder and harder, and the storm got fiercer and fiercer and fiercer. So they realized they were getting nowhere. And they prayed to God. They said, "Don't make us kill this innocent man. We know that you wouldn't like that." But Jonah finally convinced them that the only way the ship was going to be saved was if they threw him overboard. And they did. And what happened then? The sea got quiet. And the people on the ship were so impressed that they made a sacrifice to God, and they took vows to worship God. Meanwhile, here's old Jonah. He's floating in the ocean, and he knows that things are not looking good for him. He figures, okay, God's given up on me because I wouldn't do what he wanted me to do. But he was wrong. God sent a big fish to swallow Jonah. And that big fish swallowed Jonah, didn't kill him, and Jonah was surrounded by the fish, and the fish swam around for 3 days. And Jonah started praying. And his prayer said, "What I have vowed, I will make good. I will say, salvation comes from the Lord." So the fish swam towards the shore. God made the fish vomit Jonah onto the shore. And Jonah kind of figured at this point, it was all over. He's probably free from all this. He didn't have to do anything, and God would probably be mad at him, and he wouldn't have to go to Nineveh. But he was wrong. He was dead wrong. God said to Jonah, "You have to go to Nineveh and deliver my message." So Jonah went to Nineveh. He wasn't very happy to do it, but he went. He got to Nineveh and he discovered it was a big city. There were lots and lots of people. It took him 3 days to get through the city. And everywhere he went, he preached the message that told the people, in 40 days, Nineveh will be overthrown. And Jonah was okay with this, but the people listened to Jonah. Particularly the king of Nineveh listened. And he believed what Jonah was saying. He made the people go on a fast to honor God, and he made them repent of their evil ways. While Jonah went outside the city to sit by and watch for the city to be destroyed, God told him, "I'm sparing these people. They listened to your message." And this really made Jonah angry. He said, "I knew you were going to do that. I knew it, because you are a good and compassionate God, slow to anger, and a God who relents from sending calamity. And I wanted to see Nineveh destroyed." Well, Jonah had gone to camp outside the city. And while he had been waiting for the city to be destroyed, he was sitting there, and it was kind of hot. But God asked him, "Why are you so angry? Is it right for you to be angry about me saving the city?" And Jonah just sort of blub, 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 blub. You know how people get when they're angry and don't know what to say? And God did something for Jonah. Even though Jonah had given up on him, God made a plant grow that gave Jonah shade while he sat and overlooked the city. And Jonah liked this plant. He thought it was pretty neat. And then, in the middle of the night, God sent a worm to destroy the plant. And the next morning, when Jonah woke up, his plant was gone. And Jonah was mad at that too. He said, "You took my plant away. I liked that plant." And God said to Jonah, "You didn't even have anything to do with that plant. You liked it. You wanted to keep it. But I was the one who put it there. Why are you so angry? Don't you think that I have a better right to want to take care of the 120,000 people in Nineveh than you would to take care of that little plant?" And finally, Jonah got the message. And the whole message was, you can't run away from God, And no matter how mad you get at God, God still has your back and wants to take care of you. So lots of exciting things happen to Jonah, but in the end, Jonah has a really important message for us. And I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope that you have learned something about Jonah.